Hello and welcome to another episode of Focus On. I'm Gyamo Musipili. We are at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature where the Gauteng MEC for Finance and Economic Development, Lebogang Maile, tabled the budget for the 2025 and 2026 financial year. The figure for this current year stands at 171 billion rand, incurring a 2 billion rand increase from the previous year. We spoke to various MECs on what the impact of today's budget means for their departments. MEC, thank you so much for joining us. We are here at the tabling of the Gauteng budget, and your department, Roads and Transport, is part of the key priorities underlined by the Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi. First and foremost, with the slight increase in your allocation, what are some of the plans you want to institute first?
There's not really much increase on our side, especially looking at the work that we must do as a department responsible for roads and transport in our province. But you know that Premier has prioritized some of the issues we are dealing with, and amongst that is routine road maintenance throughout our province. We are working hard using the conditional grant and including what the province has allocated as a department. We'll try. The budget is too tight, I must say, and we are to sit down with the teams to make sure that what is allocated is used effectively, but also most importantly, to make sure that we deliver the services to people of Gauteng. We have started with working closely with our municipalities on making sure that we fix the provincial road traffic light signs, and also appealing to municipalities to also do their part. We are also expected to do routine maintenance throughout the province, and we've put a clear plan in that regard throughout our regions, and we make sure that we really deliver on what are the priorities for the province now, including upgrading of our road infrastructure as well as construction of some of the new roads throughout the province. So there's work that we are going to be doing, of course minimal, because we wanted to do more, especially after putting systems in place, after identifying inefficiencies within the system and making sure that we are a department that is working. We're amongst the departments that are responsible for service delivery. And in the past, the department has been struggling, and we are confident to say that we will be able to deliver to people of Gauteng.
Staying in line with what you've mentioned in terms of the budget constraints you are facing, which is also in line with some of the national budget constraints that the South African government is contending with, are there any plans in place in terms of increasing some of that revenue connection as well to kind of pour into that budget?
Just this morning, we were with the team on how do we work on increasing our revenue collection as a province. Of course, yes, we've been meeting the targets that the province have set for us as Department of Roads and Transport. By the way, we are the biggest contributor to revenue in this province. We collect around 5.1 billion, and you have heard MEC Maile speaking that the whole collection is about 7+ billion, and of that 5.1 is collected by ourselves. And we are putting more effort and plan around to aggressively make sure that we collect more to assist the financial strain that we are all faced with as people of Gauteng, but also to make sure that we provide quality service. So one of the things that we are doing and will be rolling out is smart licensing centers. In the adjustment period of 2023-2024, we were allocated budgets. We'll be handing over some of the smart licensing centers. Our target is to make sure that we hand them over by the 31st of March, because we are done with refurbishing them and making sure that they are operational to assist. One of those that we piloted is the Atteridgeville one, which within a short period of time we collected a whole lot, and that assists taking and expanding services to where people are.
And just another point, still staying on the topic that is on the tip of everyone's tongue, which is the upcoming G20 summit to be hosted in Gauteng. Has there been any priorities within your department, particularly considering the need for, to showcase South Africa on the global stage?
we're just about to inherit a 45 billion asset, the Gautrain project, and it's one of the vanity projects that we can showcase to the world that it could be achieved here in Africa. It's still running, of course, yes, with slight challenges that require attention, and we are now moving our attention to assisting the teams there to make sure that we increase the ridership. We also are working closely with municipalities. I have bilateral with municipalities, especially the metros, in preparing for G20, but also looking at what is it that we can do to participate within the summit.
MEC, thank you so much for your time, and all the best of luck with the priorities you have outlined.
Thank you very much. It's a tight budget. We'll see what can be done with it. Of course, yes, one of the things that we need to do is to look at partners. You know that we started Adopt and Protect a Robot campaign, and this is partnership. It's in partnership with the private sector within our province. So there's a lot of initiatives that we will explore. How do we partner with private sector to make sure that some of this are delivered to the people of Gauteng? And we're very excited and very thankful to the private sector that is so willing, including the stakeholders that we work with, especially the public transport operators in our province. Thank you very much.
MEC, thank you so much for your time. Still here at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, where the MEC for Economic Development and Finance has tabled the budget for the year 2025. You stand at helm of the Department of Human Settlements, a department that you have inherited from the previous administration. What are some of the key observations you have seen and some of the action items you are prioritizing in this role?
Well, thanks. Yes, I think the biggest challenge that we have is, of course, the big backlog. But my priorities are to finish incomplete projects. They've been a huge sore point for many of our communities over a long period of time. We're making good headway with even having completed some of the incomplete projects that we had started in the last financial year. So we want to prioritize those. Second priority for me is just the issuing of title deeds. So we have a host of people living in communities that have been living in their houses for a long period of time. We've not been able to issue title deeds because of township issues, township establishment issues, formalization, etc., etc. So I want to work closer with the municipality, especially on items that they can give a relaxation on. It will allow us to issue title deeds. And so that for me is the second priority. A third priority is really to work hand in hand with municipalities to eradicate informal settlements. I know it's something that we've been speaking about, but we do have a very comprehensive plan, municipality by municipality, to be able to eradicate them. And I think if we get the adequate support, we'll be able to make good headway over the next 5 years.
I still want to stay on the mention of eradicating informal settlements. When we look at where we position today, the Johannesburg inner city, there are often complaints about the urban decay, lack of maintenance, but also the problem of hijacked buildings. What is your parting shot on that?
So definitely we're working together with COCTA and the municipality to be able to address it. Of course, bylaws become a very important aspect, but where we can take over buildings, and we're working with entities to be able to do that, not only in the province but also in the municipalities, to be able to reclaim those buildings and then repurpose them. So you can repurpose them, which is where we play a role for subsidized housing or rental stock. We can also repurpose some of the building for student accommodation. So you could actually have a multi-use building that could see to different aspects of the housing needs: student accommodation, rental stock, even subsidized housing. So working together with the municipality, we're looking at that, and we're in full support of that process. Even provincial government is in full support of that process to be able to reclaim those buildings. For us, it's important because the CBD still plays a vital role in the driving the economy. So you can't have complete decay in the CBD. I mean, just in Johannesburg CBD, we have courts which will not move. You've got other services like national departments, SARS, for instance, Home Affairs, for instance. You've got the different types of courts. You've got the big courts downtown. So we have got a responsibility, and also provincial government has taken a decision to make sure that the CBD remains our headquarters for all of us. It plays a very big role as an economic node. We've got to resuscitate it. We've got to rehabilitate it. Soon the city will be reopening the library, so we're working together to revitalize it. But a building doesn't have to be 100% single-use building like it used to be. So you don't have to have a big building that is just for office accommodation. Since the advent of COVID, even office accommodation and how people work has changed. They work remotely, etc., etc. So you could have a very big building that accommodates a multiplicity of needs. Student accommodation is a huge problem for us in Gauteng, but subsidized as well as rental stock. I'm sure there are many employees of both national, provincial government, municipal government, even the private sector that work in the CBD that wouldn't mind actually living in the CBD where they could just walk to the office at very affordable rental rates. And that's the kind of clientele we want to service.
And that's how we wrap up this episode of Focus On. From me, Gauteng MEC, and the rest of the CNBC Africa team, it's goodbye for now.